day, everyone. Thank God it's Friday and it's time for both of us to engage in our weekly conversation. Welcome, my name is Blanche Dias. You know, one of my passions is people. I love them. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that annoy me about people. And so I have to call this video my pet People Peeves. I just can't stand people who can't keep time. Punctuality is extremely important to me. I have been known to leave meetings because they haven't started on time. It's not just about the clock. It's about respecting your own commitments and your commitments to others. In the world of today, since social media is such a huge thing, I have a lot of grouses on that score. There are people I know who post endless photographs of themselves at the same event. What's so different from photograph one? In fact, one is enough already. Well, one little black dress looks the same as another little black dress. So there's absolutely no difference in these photographs, except that maybe the smiles of the people get more fake and plastic with every click of the shutter. Well, I can only say that people who post photographs of themselves ad nauseum are those who like the limelight. Well, my friends, that limelight gets a little too glaring at times, and everyone is looking for that final curtain call. What about Facebook? One posts just about everything on Facebook. The other day I met a friend who said, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, well, depending on who looks at it, well, nothing or everything. And she says, "Don't joke around. You never condoled with me at my mum's passing." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry. I did not know that your mum passed away." And she said, "Well, I put it on Facebook." Well, I rest my case. I did go onto Facebook to read the obituary, and I was amused. Well, not the death, please. I loved her mother and I'm really sad that she passed away. But I am amused that there were 27 likes on this announcement. What about WhatsApp? I admit I use WhatsApp freely, frankly, and fearlessly, but I take the time to type out individual messages to people on their birthdays or other occasions. And what do I get in return? An emoji, a thumbs up, or a TKS. What is TKS? And another thing I never fail to marvel at, people who type K when what they actually want to say is okay. How long does it take to type the character O? People I abhor are people who ride roughshod over others, especially those less privileged than themselves. There are women in my building who talk so rudely to their drivers or sweepers or even the security in the building. Just because you are of a better status in life doesn't make you better than them. It almost seems as though you have no other perspective but your own, and definitely no empathy. People who look at themselves in the mirror all the time, the loneliest people in the world. When I was 18, I dated a young man, a very personable, charming young man, and while we were sitting in the restaurant, he didn't look at me in the eye even once. He kept looking over my shoulder, and that's not very flattering on a date. So I surreptitiously looked around to see who he was looking at, and I realized there was a horizontal mirror on the wall behind me. This man was looking at himself. Well, I don't blame him, because with his perfectly gelled hair, his weekly facials at a very expensive man's salon, and his perfectly manicured nails, he was definitely prettier than I was. But that was the last time I ever dated anyone whose first, middle, and last name was narcissist. I hate people who dominate conversations. There are those who just want to shove their ideas down your throat. And I can't stop them, because however much I'd love to put people on mute, it's not possible, because these dominating conversationalists just go on and on. There is no stopping them. So I do the next best thing. I call upon a quotation by a famous naturalist called Franz de Waal, and he said, "Chimpanzees have an extraordinary drive for dominance, and they're always jockeying for position." So you can imagine the creative visualization I conjure with a very bemused expression on my face while I tune out all the yakety yak blah 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 blah. I hate people who gossip. You know, when a friend or an acquaintance entrusts you with a confidence, respect that confidence. And yet there are so many people who come to me and he said, "Listen, just don't tell anybody this, but I'm sharing it with you." People who talk behind my back, don't be surprised if I burn the bridges between us. And the list that I've just spoken about is definitely not exhaustive. There are very many more peeves. Youngsters who show a very public display of affection. Ew, get a room, guys. People who talk with their mouths full or chew noisily. I don't need an Atkins or a California diet. This is enough to put me off food for the rest of my life. People who chew gum while talking with you. I turn around and leave the room because I'm not used to talking to a cow. You know, with people, they say that some people are like clouds. When they disappear, it becomes a beautiful day. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are annoyed with things I do too. So maybe it's time for me to disappear. And all of you have a beautiful day.